Another wonderful presentation. Thanks for some hard truths. Here I'm talking with Chris Wright. Chris is the CEO of Liberty Energy Services here in Denver. And he's developed for himself quite a national platform, even international, in talking about some of the inconsistencies and incongruities between our policy and the reality of energy facts on the ground. So let's start with the company.
You bet.
Oil and gas is very cyclical. What have you done strategically the last 5-10 years to help moderate some of those cycles in the industry by diversification?
One is we've used the cycles to our advantage. When the times are distressed, it's presented us unique acquisition opportunities. It's allowed us to build our competitive advantage more. So we use the cycles within the industry, and we're developing now an electricity generating business. We'll soon be using our equipment, these reciprocating natural gas burning engines, to sell electricity outside of our industry, literally the any industry. So ultimately that'll broaden our business much wider than today's focus on the oil and gas industry.
Outstanding. We talk about electricity. Are we electrifying everything, and why, and what are the perils? The grid.
Yeah, I mean, we are not. There's a love affair with electricity, and it is an awesome source of energy,
yes.
But only 20% of global energy is delivered via the electricity lines.
Wow.
And that isn't even growing meaningfully. You know, that might be 22 or 23% in a decade, but we're not electrifying everything because you can't electrify everything. The most important thing we do with energy is build materials, steel, plastics, fertilizer. You need high temperature process heat to do that. That's not going to come electrically. And we've been doing policies, naive policies on the grid. Oh, we'll put on, intermittent sources that take a lot of land and materials, and somehow they're going to make electricity become cheaper. Of course they don't. If you have unreliable sources of electricity, you need a second grid that's going to back up and constantly be turning up and down to firm that, to keep electricity reliable. And the more unreliables you get on the grid, the more expensive electricity prices become and the less reliable the grid becomes. This isn't good for society, but it is a business opportunity for Liberty. As prices become more expensive and there's more premium on reliability, we're going to be selling electricity into that marketplace.
And this isn't a forecast. This is today.
It's happening.
Exactly. Tell me about the lucky 1 billion.
So you and I, and the rest of this 1 billion people live nicely energized lives. We got washing machines to clean our clothes. We get around in motorized transportation. We jump on planes or cars sometime to go visit our relatives. And we live lives recognizable to us. But what people don't realize, I know you do, but most people don't realize that 7 billion people don't live lives remotely recognizable to this. They don't have motorized transportation, not even a moped. They get around on bike or again, riding buses. They don't own any motorized transportation. We've got billions of people that don't even have clean cooking fuel. They don't have a stove to turn on. They got to gather wood to cook food and make their meals. And what do those 7 billion people want? They want the life you and I have.
And who can blame them?
Of course.
Right.
And they should have that life. And of course they will have that life. But the only way they can get there to where we are is just massively more energy in the world. So the marketplace is going to pull that. More energy means more better lives. But we have government policies and increasing things these days standing in the way. That's making energy more expensive and making that progress slower. But that progress will come. And it's truly unjust to ignore the interest of these 7 billion people, pretend they don't exist.
Well, you guys are doing something about that with propane.
We are. I always say I love hydrocarbons in all their flavors because they're so effective in energizing society. Propane is my favorite hydrocarbon. Because at my house, I get methane molecules delivered via pipelines from my cook stove, for heating my house, doing all the things I love. But if you live in a village in Africa or a city in South Asia, you don't have natural gas pipelines under everywhere, you get that from propane. You can transport it as a liquid in canisters, and you can burn it as a gas. But 2.3 billion people are cooking their daily meals, burning wood or dung inside. 3 million needless deaths from air pollution.
And that's women and children.
That's women and children mostly, because they're the ones over the fires all day long. That's easily solvable problem, which is simply a propane canister and a cook stove. Now, people are already transitioning this way, but our Bettering Human Lives Foundation is to provide zero interest loans first in Kenya and Ghana, to entrepreneurs that are already supplying propane, but helping them grow their businesses. Because 85% of Africans don't have clean cooking fuels. We're gonna help change that, and as fast as possible. But through the only mechanism that's sustainable, business. Loans to help grow and support businesses so more people can live better lives.
One last question. Tell me more about how one can find more information on the foundation.
BetteringHumanLivesFoundation.org.
.org.
.org.
BetteringHumanLivesFoundation.org.
And in the Liberty Report, Bettering Human Lives, we talk about the foundation in there.
Great.
Thank you for your passion about energy, your communication about energy, and your partnership in all this.
Couldn't do it without you, Chris.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank
okay,
you.
we appreciate you. Thank you.